Hello, welcome to 30 Days of Recovery Awareness. My name is Raquel Lopez, and I'm so excited that you are here. Today's topic is one that I am excited to bring to you, and it is about building resilience in recovery. And I think that it is something as a addict alcoholic myself in recovery for 16 years now. It is something that I have seen has helped me to build confidence and a lasting sobriety. And so we're going to get into that right now. So make sure that you have liked and subscribed so you can comment. If you have any questions at all throughout, feel free to share them in the comment section or the chat if you're live. And I just can't wait to get back to any questions or if anything stands out to you, share that. If you can relate to anything, let me know. I would love to get to know you better. And also, if you subscribe, you'll be able to, get notified of the next episode because this is a 30-day series. We're on day 8 today. And so last week we talked about self-care in recovery and how that can be a benefit in this journey as you're embarking on this recovery. If you are an active addiction, or if you are a loved one of somebody who is in active addiction, or if you are in recovery yourself or exploring recovery, this is going to be a great series for you because not only do I have each episode as one that's kind of a standalone, they also all kind of build on each other as well. So you'll hear different things shared again in maybe different ways or expanded upon along the 30-day series. So I'm just excited to bring this to you, and definitely my hope and prayer is that it gives you hope and some guidance, along with just sharing some of my experience along the way. So let's dive in. So, what is resilience? So, what is that, just as we're going to be talking today? So, that is the ability to adapt to and recover from challenging life experiences. So it is definitely something to bounce back from adversity, to adapt to change, and to keep moving forward despite obstacles. And in recovery, things come up. We're dealing with a lot of like hurts, habits, and hangups. We're dealing with a lot, and things that we are new to us, things that are, old wounds that are getting reopened, or they're just new places and things, and so many different things that come up. And so it's really being able to help maintain sobriety during those difficult times, whether it's emotional stress or transitions of life or just unexpected setbacks, like relapse and things like that. So those are all things that resilience can help with, and just being able to develop the strength and flexibility to recover and grow from challenges and things that have happened along the way. And I am a firm believer in this subject, and I absolutely love it. I also have a fun printable that I will be linking into the comment section once I'm off live with you guys, and you'll be able to download that as well, just to help, kind of just start thinking about a few things that will help in give you some tools and things to think about. So okay, let's keep going. Characteristics of those who are resilient in your life. Maybe you know of some people that I'm going to describe. So even if you haven't heard the term resilience before, or just that tied to recovery, these are some things that when you think of this person or think of somebody who has these characteristics, think of those people who are resilient in your life, because this isn't just about someone in addiction and recovery. This can be for anyone who is on that personal growth journey, and the journey of life and life's changes and the challenges that can sometimes come when you're just doing life, because life isn't perfect, right? Life is it happens. Life just keeps going, right? So this is definitely not about being perfect. It's just about, like I said, developing those strengths and flexibility here. So Okay, so the first characteristic I want to talk about is positive mindset. And so this is just a positive outlook and focusing on solutions rather than the problems. And yes, we need to, go back and sometimes really dive into what happened. But it's not to stay stuck there. It's not to stay stuck and dwell on the guilt and the shame, or get frustrated and just sitting in the ick, right? Yes, sometimes we have to marinate a little bit in that to learn from, but that is exactly what resilience is. It's taking those icky times, it's taking those things that have happened in our lives, and it's looking at, okay, well, now I'm going to focus on what I've learned from that and how I can change whatever I was doing to put me on a path to going forward and changing and solution focused, right? So that is having that positive mindset. It's not saying nothing bad happened or I'm not going to think about that ever again, because we need to sit and we need to focus and we need to think about those things for a little bit in order to grow and change and learn from those past either mistakes or situations in our life or whatnot. So that is that positive mindset. It's not about everything's fine and I'm not, ever going to look at that again. It's actually looking at it, but then moving forward and learning and growing from mistakes or what has happened. The next one is emotional regulation. And so this is just being able to manage emotions effectively, such as practicing self soothing techniques or seeking support when needed. So this is about those techniques. We've talked a little bit about some in the past, but it's breathing, it's grounding, it's prayer, it's meditating, it's seeking support when we need to seek support, because we realize that we can't do this on our own. Once you get into recovery, I know from my personal experience and those that I've worked with and those who I am friends with in recovery, we get to a point in our life where we realize I can't do this on my own. I have gotten myself into this icky, sticky mess and I need help getting out. And so recovery is really that point in your life and that change where you go from, I got this, I'm going to do this all by myself, to, hey, I need someone to throw me a life vest and a life ring and give me some advice because I can't do this by myself. And so that is, kind of what that means as far as seeking support. And just when those things come up, right? It is adaptability is another resilient characteristic. Adaptability, and that is just being open to change and helping find new ways to cope and to thrive. And so again, I talked a little bit about this kind of already, but it's making those changes and being open to, going different places, being open to, hanging out with different people, being open to trying something new. Because, like I just said, I got myself into a hot mess and I needed help to get out. I needed different tools and different people and different places, and just needed to do my life different because the way I was doing it apparently obviously was not working, and it got me in some pretty bad situations, and to the point where I didn't want to live anymore. And so I needed to figure out a different way to live, and so I was willing to make some changes. There's a saying in recovery, if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? And saying that again, if nothing changes, nothing changes. I love the fun little sayings that there are in recovery, but it's definitely taking some of those things and being like, okay, well, what can I do differently? And having the wisdom around you and putting yourself in places that people are doing things in a different way to help you learn and help you grow. And so that is just having that adaptability. I'll talk a little bit more too as we go on, but it's also having a support system. And so this, again, is threaded throughout. Some of these concepts are not different from some of the things. We had a whole talk in another episode about support systems and building support systems. And so if you have, I want to, I'm not going to say exactly which one because I don't want to, I don't want to say the wrong one, but just go back through the, the podcast review of all the episodes, and you'll see all the topics that I've already talked about. And so really diving in more on the support system factor. But you'll see that a characteristic of someone who is resilient is someone who builds friends and family and a recovery community. You see that they stop isolating and start being around other people who are wanting to better themselves, who are on the same path to wanting a better future or wanting a future at all. Like, I didn't even want a future at that point. I just was done living the way that I was living, and I needed to be in a support system that was different, because I got myself into not the greatest of places of my own doing. I can't blame anybody but myself. So, I got myself there, and decide I had to decide to make a change and to get around different people who were going to support the path that I was now choosing. So those are the characteristics. Again, positive mindset, emotional regulation, adaptability, and support system. So those are things that someone who is resilient has. And so some of the strategies of building resilience would be, the first one being having a growth mindset. So again, it's viewing challenges as opportunities for learning and growth. And we've talked about that a little bit already, but it's just taking and being willing to learn and grow. There's a lot of willingness here in recovery, like I mentioned a little bit ago. It's being willing to do something different, really, at the end of the day. And then it's taking those small, actionable steps along the way, surrounded by people who love you, who want you to move forward, and want to help you in your sobriety. Or maybe, addiction isn't your thing. Maybe it's something else in your life, but you're wanting to change and you're wanting to grow and you're wanting to either heal from past mistakes or just move forward in a different light, and that's available to you, and you are worth the fight of making that change and being around different people. And so I just want to encourage you in that you are definitely worth that, and there's a plan and a purpose for your life. And so always feel free, like I said, to reach out to me if any of these things you have questions about, or want me to expand on. Feel free to let me know, and I'll be like, oh, okay, well, we have this talk coming, or I can message you or email you and get some more information your way. But the next one is practicing self-regulation. So this is, journaling, meditation, just to understand personal strengths and areas for growth. And so that is, again, it's not like being stuck in those past things in your life, but looking at them, opening up, taking a journal, writing out a timeline maybe of where you were, and looking at some of that and seeing some of those patterns in your life, like maybe how you got to where you were, and maybe trying to figure out why, and learning, well, maybe if you did this, maybe do the opposite. For a long time, when I first got sober, I like literally would do the opposite of what the first thing came to mind I wanted to do. Because I was so messed up that my immediate thought and immediate reaction was not the right thing. And so I literally would do like the opposite of my immediate thought and action, because I knew that I wanted that big of a change in my life. And so I haven't thought about that for a while, but yeah, I literally would do that. The very, those early days in my recovery, I would do the complete opposite of what I thought was right. And if I didn't know, I'd ask somebody. So I was willing to be at a place where I would, allow for for growth and a different opinion in my life. The next one is setting realistic goals. And this one can be really hard. Let me tell you, because as someone in recovery, I won't speak for everybody, so I'll just say I feel big and I want things to happen now. And I mean, it's not only just me. Like I've seen this, it's happened. I've seen it, in you know, a good number of people that I've been around. We want things to happen now. We want things to be, fixed right away. We want to be happy right away. We don't want to be like stuck in the sad or in the frustrating times, or, we want to feel better. I mean, that's why we used a lot of the time is to feel better. And in the beginning, sometimes, yes, we feel better on one end, but sometimes we don't feel better on one end. But, we can't educate our feelings, right? Sometimes it is just about, setting those feelings aside and really digging down into the root of what we need to do. And that's setting realistic goals. It's those that are achievable, those that can help you build confidence and um, a sense of accomplishment, right? That is taking those little steps along the way, then and doing like, okay, I check, I did that, check, I did that, check, I did that. And that's building confidence, right? It's taking the small wins to create a big win. And I know I've said that recently. I don't know if it was on a social media live that I did, or if it was my previous episode or the one before, but that is definitely something that builds resilience as well. It's those little wins that create the big changes in our life. um and again, it goes to problem solving skills, right? So um it's breaking challenges into manageable steps and seeking creative solutions, right? So that's, again, taking those changes and then reevaluating them and be like, okay, well, I did this change, but maybe like this didn't work out how I wanted it to, or maybe there was a setback of some kind. It's, looking at it and being like, okay, what can I do next? Okay. And it's brainstorming. It's brainstorming. Okay, what are some of the solutions that I have? I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. Okay, what's going to get me to my next step? And breaking that down into really, really small, manageable steps. Okay. So it's doing that and doing that continually, and it's doing that over and over again, because let me tell you, for a long time, my way to cope and my way to deal with anything that came up in my life, whether it be good, bad, stress, anger, frustration, was to drink, and it was to use, and it was to act out. And those are the ways that I did life for years. I never learned those healthy coping skills because I immediately went to the drugs and alcohol and the men and the addictive behaviors in my life. I didn't go to anything healthy. And so when I got sober, I really needed to learn those healthy coping skills and really building up those problem solving skills and all that kind of stuff. It takes time. It takes practice. I didn't get where I was overnight, and I'm not going to get, fixed, quote unquote, whatever that is, and normal, whatever that is. I'm not going to get that overnight as well. And so really it's taking those small steps to create a big change again. And it's just, breaking things down and having others speak into your life. It's staying connected, which is the next one. And it's getting those supportive people that can offer encouragement, that can offer the different perspectives during this time in your life where you're, learning and growing and, making changes and doing the opposite that you used to do, right? It's having those people speak into your life, because for so long I did things my way, and my way got me nowhere good, and so I needed help when I decided to make some changes in my life. And so it's staying connected, and then finally it's embracing flexibility. And this has to do a little bit with that adaptability characteristic that I talked about earlier. But it's being flexible, remaining open to change, and just navigating more effectively some of those life happenings or the life uncertainties that can arise in your life. And so it's really just kind of embracing that flexibility and not being rigid, right? I mean, yes, there's boundaries that can be set, and that has to be pretty set, right? And we talked about boundaries some episodes back. So, yes, boundaries, and those can be rigid, but we really need to have those set, right? But then again, it's also having flexibility in most other areas of our life. If it's not going to benefit us, then really having some of those flexibility things in our life. Um, so yeah, so that is what I wanted to bring to you guys today. So I just want to encourage you to maybe take a small step towards resilience, and think about maybe something in your life that you have been through, that you've come out the other side, and how is that, how has that been for you? What victories have you already had? And so kind of putting that into, your tool belt, right, as you continue to journey through your recovery. And like I said, I will link you some of those resilience reminder cards. They kind of look like this. They're just some fun things to flip through. You can cut them out. You can I would print them out on cardstock. You can keep them like this too, just to kind of like journal from, but you can also print them out and cut them and have them available. And I have a few pages, and then I also have some that you can actually create your own too. So I'll have some blank things for you too. And so that will be something that, like I said, I'll link in the comments. But I encourage you to come back, because I am, yes, excited about next episode as well. This one, again, was about one of my favorite things, which is resilience. But I always say that, so these are some of my favorite things, because all of these things have helped me so much in my recovery. And that is why I felt the call to bring them to you, because it has just been such a help to me and to so many others, these parts of, recovery. And next episode is not different. It is about gratitude, and how gratitude can be a role in enhancing your recovery. So I'm excited to bring that to you next. So stay tuned and make sure to like and subscribe, and so you can get notified when that episode drops. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to hearing from you. If anything stood out, leave a comment, and feel free to find me on social media. Raquel Lynn Lopez on Facebook, Rocky Lynn Lopez on Instagram, and I'll see you next time.